Is this going to be a country that I don't recognize in 5 to 10 years if we don't have these two pillars? If we don't, I mean, where are the Democrats going with this? If Mamdani is the face of the Democrats on the East Coast and Katie Porter is the face on the West Coast, I don't know if that's great politically for that.
It's becoming pretty obvious that the socialist wing is steering the Democratic Party, and Mamdani's win in New York just confirmed it. Even the party's leadership seems comfortable backing his hard left agenda, which could create real problems for the DNC. That's why Maher stepped in and tried to bring the party back to reality, pointing out where things went wrong and what it would take to recover. Let's break it down.
Guy he just brought up, that's who you're all going to have to answer for. So I got to get your answer. This is Mamdani. If you've been not following the news, he won the Democratic primary in New York, so he is certainly likely to be the next mayor. We don't know. I mean, there's a lot of opposition because we've never had someone this radical. Some of the things he says, prisons were obsolete. What purpose do they serve? I can think of a couple. The NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. I think most people think cops are protecting their public safety, even though there's issues and problems with the police department. Do you like capitalism? No. We've never had a guy quite like this. You know, he quotes Marxist, each according to their need. I mean, that's straight up communism. Whether you call it the abolition of private property, you call it housing guarantees, it's preferable to what is going on right now.
Maher actually warned everyone about Mamdani months before Election Day. And even though we're still early in his term, it's hard not to think that Maher's prediction will age well. He spotted the warning signs long before anyone else. This isn't new for him either. He previously cautioned the DNC against pushing Kamala Harris as a presidential contender. They ignored him, convinced they knew better. The result was one of the most embarrassing losses in recent political history. It's almost like the party is allergic to learning from its mistakes. Maher isn't a fortune teller, but he has a talent for recognizing political disasters early. And if his instincts are right again, Mamdani's rise might be the next step in the DNC's slow collapse.
I mean, just the phrase abolition of private property, not something we usually hear in America.
There's always a villain. There's people. They always try to create a villain. Is my point. They always try to create some boogeyman or boogie. No. If it wasn't this one, quotes. It was going to be somebody else.
I'm not creating anything.
I'm not defending the policies. There are plenty of things that I disagree with there, and that I don't come down on.
You're going to have to answer everything like this. They're going to ask every single Democratic politician.
But the point being, we see this every cycle. I've now been doing this long enough to know that every single cycle, there's some, contrived villain or boogeyman.
This guest completely misunderstood Maher's point, and you can see it written all over Maher's face. Nobody is trying to turn Mamdani into some mythical villain. We've said that more than once. The truth is Mamdani doesn't need help looking extreme. His own proposals do that for him. Every concern Maher raised about the new mayor came directly from Mamdani's own comments and policy ideas. When a politician openly pushes positions that challenge the foundations of the American economic system, people are going to respond. Maher is simply reflecting back what the left refuses to acknowledge. If Mamdani ends up looking like a caricature of a radical, that's not on Maher.
And if it wasn't this
He's
one,
not contrived. He's going to be the mayor of New York.
The thing that I find the most appalling, which is that he defends the expression globalize the intifada.
Yes, correct.
Which explicitly means, and I don't want to hear anyone deny this, everything that the crazy far right alleged about Barack Obama, wasn't born in America, right. Islamist, socialist,
right.
anti-Semite, hates America. It's all true about this guy.
Right.
Okay? It is all true about
right.
this guy. And the fact that this man is on the verge of becoming the mayor of the second largest Jewish city in the world is very frightening. And I'm actually really disappointed that more Democrats have either, are not coming out and condemning him and saying we're not going to endorse this guy because he is beyond the...
Maher called Mamdani's victory well before the ballots were counted. He saw it coming because the signs were obvious. Media excitement, the momentum of the progressive movement, and a party that's been drifting toward the far left for years. But Maher didn't just predict who would win. He warned that Mamdani's success could create long-term damage for Democrats. And honestly, he might be right. Capitalism has flaws, but socialism isn't the miracle solution some on the left imagine. It sounds appealing on paper, but in practice it stalls innovation, eliminates opportunity.
seems to me that there are two pillars that this country is founded on. One is democracy, and one is capitalism, free markets. And it seems like one party wants to get rid of one, and the other party wants to get rid of the other. Right? The Republicans are not that, democracy is just not number one on their list. It just isn't. It isn't. It's behind Christianity and a few other things. And the Democrats, I mean, I read these 74% are for democratic socialism. Only 16% favor capitalism.
That explains how Mamdani, with his Marx-inspired talking points and proud socialist identity, managed to climb his way to the top of the Democratic ticket. The party isn't just entertaining socialist ideas anymore. It's adopting them. What used to be a coalition of moderates and progressives is now dominated by people who view capitalism as the problem and redistribution as the fix. They're not trying to improve the system. They want to replace it. The older Democratic establishment may pretend everything is normal, but eventually they'll have to face what's happening or be pushed aside. The ideological shift inside the party is real, and Mamdani is only the beginning. This movement has the power to reshape or even unravel the DNC.
Is this going to be a country that I don't recognize in 5 to 10 years if we don't have these two pillars? If we don't, I mean, where are the Democrats going with this? If Mamdani is the face of the Democrats on the East Coast and Katie Porter is the face on the West Coast, I don't know if that's great politically for that party.
No, this isn't good for the party and it's not good for the country. With Mamdani rising in the East and Katie Porter gaining influence in the West, the Democrats are drifting into unstable territory. This isn't just political imbalance. It's a recipe for national problems. The United States works best when both major parties challenge each other with grounded, practical ideas. What we need is a strong Democratic Party, not one that echoes failed socialist experiments. The DNC still has the ability to be that party, but it needs to reconnect with its core values: freedom, practicality, and balance. Right now it's slipping away from all three, falling into emotional politics and ideological slogans. If this direction continues, the consequences won't be limited to the DNC. It could weaken the country's political stability overall.
New York is New York. It's definitely it's the media capital, the financial capital. It is a bellwether like no other city is in this country. So don't tell me that who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say, on the seize the means of production, do you think that the mayor, that one person, if he is a democratic socialist, do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to, like, usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time.
Maher says Mamdani's win all but guarantees a Republican victory in the next national election. And honestly, there's logic behind that. Sure, it's early and politics is unpredictable, but Maher has a strong record in reading the political landscape. Middle America isn't interested in a socialist makeover. These are working people who stick with capitalism not because it's perfect but because they know the alternative. They've seen what happens when governments take too much control or try to redistribute their way to prosperity. The outcome is always the same: higher taxes, fewer jobs, and no incentive to build or innovate. So if Democrats keep shifting left under figures like Mamdani, they're practically handing the next election to the GOP. Maher's point here isn't fearmongering. It's pattern recognition.
A walking commercial for the Republican Party nationally.
The Republicans are going to...
When you let the Democrats, socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which worked so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela, just bad ideas. And again, this ugly streak, streak of anti-Semitism.
Maher once said that nominating Kamala Harris would be like giving Donald Trump the presidency on a silver platter. And the way events unfolded proved his point. At the time, most people brushed off his warning. They said he was exaggerating or being dramatic. But now it feels like déjà vu. Maher is sounding the alarm again, this time about Mamdani. He believes Mamdani's rise could lead to a Republican sweep in 2028. And once again, people are shrugging it off. But Maher understands voter behavior and knows how resistant most of the country is to hard left ideology. Ignoring him twice would be a serious mistake. If Democrats don't learn from what happened last time, they might hand the GOP a clear path back to the White House.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's, Bernie is,
yeah.
Bernie is, I mean, he's not a capitalist,
No, he's not. And he's also not president.
But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
They're going to feature people, they boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, Nancy, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but
they make anybody as boogeyman.
It has.
I think it was
just have more weight when it's real. I mean, when you can really.
And a mass departure of residents. And AOC became the face of performative progressive politics, often choosing theatrics over solutions. None of this was invented. These are consequences of their own choices. So when people criticize them, it isn't demonization. It's accountability. That's exactly what Maher has been trying to highlight.
This must be horrible for a guy like you, who you spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. And here you have Trump, who is the Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mamdani, right? Okay, who's like a straight-up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah. I think every 20 years or so.
Wait.
We need every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again. Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be a mess.
And yes, it's true that many socialists have quietly accepted that pure socialism doesn't work. Instead of abandoning the idea, they've given it new names and new packaging. They use words like equity, fairness, and justice to soften an ideology that history has repeatedly shown to fail. Every country that has tried full-scale socialism has ended up with economic decline, authoritarian tendencies, and widespread poverty. Meanwhile, capitalism, with all its imperfections, has generated more innovation and opportunity than any other system. It's not perfect, but nothing else comes close. The left would be better off returning to practical economic policies instead of trying to give socialism a makeover. Maher's warnings aren't just political takes. They're reminders of hard lessons. From Kamala Harris to Mamdani, he's highlighted the risks of following ideology over reality.